All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the No Stopping Kev show. Today, I got a very special guest, my boy Jay from Wrong versus Right. Man, Jay, how you doing?
What's good, everybody? Man, I'm good. Kev, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I say you're a very special guest because you pulled me out of podcast retirement, bro. Like, like after recording on your show the other day, like I got into my bag. I reset the equipment up. I started brainstorming. I sat down with the wife, started game planning, like getting back into this form of content.
Got to, bro. Got to. I'm
Yeah,
glad you came back. The game needed you.
yeah, man. I feel like I'm back at home, man. So
There we
hopefully I'm
go.
back like I never left. But
Yep.
got some great topics to talk about today. Want to kind of hit on a lot of the current events going around in the NBA. Like a lot of news been popping off with free agency, as well as some other things. So I think before we get into that, I gotta admit something though. You know, we were talking about the draft last week,
Yep.
and I know what I said about the Rutgers kids, but sometimes I watch the videos, man, and I get a little worried.
Three. You start getting some of these other guys going. It's a danger. Oh! Ellie's shot won't go, and Davis will push it up the floor. Bailey and Davis, two-man game on the block. No whistle. Now quickly Bailey up the floor. Loping to the rim for two. Blows out. He's burning it to the rim. Peyton Sanford, when he's going, he can get going with the best of them. Bailey gets a step back. Hits his desperate need of a win early in conference play. Bailey puts it on the deck. Fades away.
Did we do the right thing? I don't know.
Listen, I think we did the right thing, man. Like you, I'm looking at the videos as well. When I see these videos of our guy BJ Edgecombe, listen, man, he's going at it like in every workout. I don't know if you saw the pre-draft workout that he had with the Sixers, but he was going in, man, giving it 110%. We had Jameer Nelson out there. All my Philly guys know about Jameer Nelson. You know, we had the whole coaching staff there, the GM. VJ was giving it his all. He just seems like a great kid, great work ethic. Now, look, Ace Bailey, and Ace Bailey is talented, but I think we made the right pick. He wants to be here. This whole, blessed to be, with the organization thing. That's cool with Ace Bailey. I get that. But when I see VJ and when I see VJ interview, it seems genuine. It seems from the heart. He really wants to play for this team. I think we made the right pick. What are your thoughts, Kev?
Man, so I think I just need to stop watching the Ace Bailey videos and the BJ videos. Sometimes you gotta focus on what you got in front of you, man,
Yes.
and not be looking at the grass over on the other side.
Right.
That's my takeaway. That's what I'm gonna try to practice in this next week. But no, I think you're right. I think, given the type of guy VJ seems to be and looking at how hard he's working and how dedicated he is to the craft, I think we made the right pick. I'm hoping.
For
But
sure. For
I'm
sure,
gonna try
man.
to watch the right videos and not the wrong video. But yeah, in other Philly news, man, I moved out here to Chicago about a week ago, and I have always said that the moment I move, Philly's gonna get a WNBA team. And sure enough, 7 days after I made the road trip, the news gets announced. How's it been feeling over there in Philly, man?
Man, the energy's been great, man. We finally got our WNBA team in 2030. Hopefully, we can get Dawn Staley to come out, be the head coach of that team. That'll be lit. But I'm excited for it. Philly's a great basketball city, so it's good to see that we're getting a team come to the W. What are your thoughts on it?
I agree, man. It's been something that I've wanted to happen for so long, and it's great that it's happening now. Or I guess in 5 years. I think that one thing that I think is exciting about the expansion of the WNBA is just that there's so much talent, right? Like a lot of times I think you think of expansion teams and you're like, all right, the team's going to be garbage for like, 5 to 10 years, right? Before they can really get something going.
Hmm.
Like one thing we're seeing with the Golden State Valkyries is that your team can come in and compete. Like they're like third or fourth in the West. I think fourth in the West. Like they're playing better than teams like the Aces, the Wangs, who I thought would do a little bit better this year. And so they're overperforming. And that's because the W is so stacked from top to bottom because there's only like what prior to the season, it was only 144 spots, right? Every team has players 1 through 12.
Hmm.
And so, as they add more teams, I think that it is still be competitive because each year there's also so many players that don't make rosters that are good enough to play in a W. So, women's basketball is in a great place, and I'm excited that it's coming to my home city, even though I won't be there. At least I'll be have another WNBA team close by. So,
It'll be there in spirit, cuz.
yeah, appreciate it, appreciate it. But free agency news, Jay, man, it's been crazy.
Wow.
So many surprising things, and I think the Bucks situation. Waiving Dame, I kind of get it, but they waived Dame, brought in Myles Turner, which I think is good for them. But I heard a lot of differing information on like how Giannis felt about it initially, and then maybe Giannis might have known. There's been a lot going on there. What's your thoughts on the moves that Milwaukee made, and I guess Indiana decided not to make?
My thoughts on this is the epitome of the NBA being a cold game. This is a business, man. Like, you mean to tell me Dame puts his body on the line in the playoffs, came back when he probably shouldn't have, had the calf injury, tears his Achilles tendon just to get waived during their offseason after giving it his all, mind you. He didn't have to come back. He probably should have just stayed on the sideline. But to get waived after that, now granted, it's not poor Dame here. He's still getting his money. He's owed all this money over these next few years. So he's chilling. He still gets his money, gets to pick where he wants to play. Listen, Dame is still winning, but it's the coldness of it, man. I saw Carmelo Anthony came out and made a comment. See, this is how the NBA does you because he had a similar situation, I believe. Isaiah Thomas had a similar situation with Boston.
Mhm.
He gave his everything to Boston. They traded him for Kyrie Irving. Um, it's just a cold business, man. I hope Dame comes back to a new team. Hope he does his thing. He's going to be out all next season due to this Achilles rehab, but it's a cold business, man. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's it's super cold. And I get Milwaukee's perspective. Like I don't necessarily like the way they went about doing it, but I think if you're looking at them every year, it seems like it's like how do we keep Giannis happy? And I think to keep him happy, you got to put a competitive group around him. And I think the way they're looking at it is they have Dame who's not going to be available next year. And then you don't know how he'll come back after the Achilles. It seems like in today's time, people are able to come back and still perform.
Hmm.
But he's also getting up there in age. So, you know, I think that for them, I guess the decision was let's like try to stretch some of this money out, bring in someone else rather than carrying his full salary year to year. But yeah, the way they go about it is it's just a cold business, and it's funny because I kind of before I came back to the podcast game, right? I've been social media heavy, so I'll post a lot of content there. And there's certain pages that I follow, but I low key got beef with them. Like follow them just to like disagree,
Me too.
which I
Me too.
guess they might be toxic. Like they might
Listen, it is what it is. I do the same thing though.
yeah, like there's this one page, control narrative, and it's all about controlling the narrative. But I'd be like, yo, your narrative is wrong. And like he had a post, I think either yesterday or today, where it was like, I like the players that are loyal to organizations. And I'm like, why should you ever be
Why?
to these
Yeah,
organizations?
that's played out.
Yeah,
That's
they can
completely played out.
we are past those days.
It's 2025.
Yeah, like get with it, get with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but like I think Myles Turner because Milwaukee lost Brooke Lopez. I think bringing in Myles Turner is good. Even though he probably could have done a little bit more in the finals to help his team. That's at least that's what my people in Indiana are telling me. That's how they feel. So I think it's a good move for Milwaukee to grab him. And it just kind of sucks for Indiana because. I mean, you're not going to have Holly next season. And so when you're looking 2 years down the line, can you
Is
repeat it?
Indiana going to be a lottery team next year?
Yeah, and that's probably part of it too, right? It's like, yo, they can tank next year, get a great pick, and maybe that's who you then are pairing with Holly and Siakam. Maybe they,
Crazy turn of events though, like going from the championship to a lottery team.
yeah,
Like think about in the span of 2 years.
I wonder if that might have happened before.
Yeah.
Definitely not common, but
Mhm.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they're able to do next year in the draft. And the other thing I've been having my eye on is Lakerland. And
Yeah, yeah.
like there's a lot of rumors like, they were able to go out and sign DeAndre Ayton, which gives them a center that,
Finally.
yeah, gives them a center finally, even though I don't know how much trust I would put in him, right? Like this is a guy where in Phoenix he was struggling in the playoffs. This is a guy where it
Yeah.
was a snowstorm. He has billions of dollars. Couldn't figure out how to get to the arena safely because of the icy
Hey,
roads.
listen, I have to be honest, that's the softest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You can't make it to the game because you couldn't get out your neighborhood. Stop. Please
At
stop.
first, I thought about
Be for real.
like when it first happened, I was like, all right, icy roads in certain places are dangerous. But when I thought about the amount of money that he and the organization has, I'm like, yo, they could have got you out of there. I'm
Yeah.
like, they could have sent
They
like a
could have sent a chopper.
yeah, yeah, they could have flown you out of there. They could have sent construction trucks to like scrape
Snowmobiles. Yeah.
everything. So yeah, that was crazy. So I don't know how much faith I put in DeAndre Ayton. And then it's like, what's gonna happen with LeBron? Like it's not he doesn't seem to be getting the same off-season treatment that he used to.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this stage in LeBron's career, he's just concerned about winning a championship, right? So when I look at his team, he has Luca, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, DeAndre Ayton. They have talent, but they're
Hmm.
in the Western Conference, right? So I would have them in the middle of the pack. So I'm not saying he's completely out of championship contention, but they definitely need more, especially defensively. Losing Dorian Finney-Smith, that hurts a lot. That was like the designated defender right there. So now you lost that. So who steps up for that in that role? Um, they just need more, man. Like to really compete in the West. Luca is a monster. Don't get it twisted. Like you said, like I don't. DeAndre Ayton is a good player. He might average 14 and 10, but he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that dog in him to me. At
Hmm.
least not at this stage in his career. LeBron is 40 years old. You can't rely on him. You just can't rely on a 40-year-old person to be your best player night in night out in the NBA. So is it possible that LeBron leaves the team? Yes, it's possible. I just don't see where he goes if it's not a team that has like championship DNA already,
Hmm.
a Golden State Warriors, San Antonio Spurs, um, some team that is kind of like that has that championship DNA. That's my take on it.
Yeah, yeah. I would. There's a part of me that would love to see him play with Steph and make a run for it. I and I mean, Draymond would love to be a part of that too, I'm sure. I just don't know. Like again, playing in the West is so tough that I don't think the Lakers have enough. I think they're middle of the pack. I think even if you add LeBron to Golden State, maybe they're upper middle of the pack. But it's still so tough. And then like I saw earlier today, Lakers have some interest in Andrew Wiggins, but Pat Riley's like, I want Rui, I want and a first round pick. I'm like,
He won it all.
yeah, I'm like, I'm thinking about Andrew Wiggins' game. Kind of like are close to Rui. I mean, I would probably rather have Wiggins over Rui.
Yeah,
But I'm like, then you want connect. I'm like, you already know we don't have that many
that's
shooters over
that's
here.
that's
Like,
way too
yeah,
much. That's
yeah,
way too much.
that ain't gonna work. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think LeBron is in LA to start the season. I
Yeah.
don't see, even though they have new ownership, no one's gonna let that go. Like,
And he's playing with his son too.
yeah,
Like, how
that's
often do you get to play with your son in the NBA?
yeah. So I think he'll be there. I just hope they can bring in another piece at least because
Yeah.
I know Luka's been looking leaner this offseason.
Yep.
Still think they're gonna need someone else, and we're gonna need Luka to try to play some defense next year.
For sure.
So
Needs to.
yeah, good luck to LA. Um, but the team that I think is probably the favorite right now, and I haven't given it a ton of thought, but when I do think about it, I'm just like they might be tough to stop, and that's the new look Houston Rockets adding Kevin Durant, which I didn't see coming.
Yeah. Um, I did drop a video about this on Wrong versus Right. Be sure to check that out and subscribe.
Definitely.
Um, I did not I didn't think that Katie was going to go to the Rockets either. I thought it probably going to be the Spurs. But that Rockets team is scary. When
Hmm.
I think about their starting lineup or potential starting lineup, Fred Van Fleet, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., Alperen Şengün, Amen Thompson, that is scary in the West. And I got them as the second best team in the West behind OKC. I do not if I'm a Western Conference team, I do not want to see them in the playoffs at all whatsoever. What I'm really interested to see if KD can step up into that number one option role. I haven't seen that since really OKC. If he can like be the leader on that team, that's what I'm waiting to see from KD. Can he be the leader? Can he be the go-to guy? Um, because they certainly have the talent to make a lot of noise in the West.
Hmm. You so you don't view KD as having been the go-to guy during that Golden State run?
So I think he was like in terms of the scoring option, I think he was like the go-to guy, but I think the heart and soul of the team, like the I don't want to say the vocal leader. The vocal leader is Draymond on that team. But
Hmm.
like the guy who like they depend on, who they can like depend on if I really need a bucket, this is my team. It was Steph Curry. Can
Yeah.
KD step into the to that? This is my team and be that guy going forward. We know he can get buckets. Can he motivate guys to like, yo, get up the court? Yo, get a stop right here. Can he do that sort of thing on the Houston Rockets? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I feel that, and like for years I hated KD because I was a huge OKC fan from the Westbrook KD days, and
Hmm.
the way he left hurt. Like going to the team that you blew the 3-1 lead against, and it speaks to like not being, I guess as Charles Barkley would put it, like the bus driver. Like right, he just joined the
There we
team,
go.
already was dominant, and it was just easy. You can just go there and just be KD, right? I think what the Houston Rockets is going to need is like a veteran leader on the floor. Like they had some veteran guys on their roster last year, but I think your go-to guy in the playoffs has to be one of your key leaders. And, you know, going back to last year's playoffs, when they went to 7 against the Warriors, as high as people were on the Rockets the entire year, the deeper they got into that series, I was like, the veterans are gonna win out. Like in the playoffs, it's gonna come down to experience. Like there's a skill of knowing how to win games, and especially in tough situations.
Yep.
Yeah, I think KD can help him do that a lot, right? I think he's a guy that makes the game easy for himself, makes it easy for other people. I think in the playoffs, he can be critical for them. Like I think if they had him last year, it would be probably a different playoff bracket. But they do need him to be a leader. I
Yep.
agree with you on that point. Like
Yep.
he has to step up, help guys grow, instill confidence, and not just expect all the pieces to kind of fall into place like they did in Golden State when he won his 2 championships.
Yep. And quick note on that for those who don't know, the Rockets were the second seed in the West
Mhm.
that this last season, and I think they're probably going to do that again this upcoming season. So shout out to the Rockets.
Yeah, I mean, I know you said you have him number 2 in the West behind OKC.
Who you got?
See, I was like looking at their roster earlier today, and I just was like, I think they got enough. I think they
Oh, to overtake OKC?
Yeah, I think they got it. I think if they're healthy,
It's a bold take.
see, in like, yes, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I think the Houston Rockets, if healthy, can be the number one team in the, or will be the number one team in the West next year. I'll stand.
Ooh,
I'll stand.
bold take. Stand on it.
Hey,
Stand on
coming
it.
coming back strong, baby.
Yeah, I
Coming
hear
back
you.
strong.
No
Uh,
stopping, Kev. Let's get it.
but yeah, and I think this brings up another question because we look at this year's finals, right? We had Indiana Pacers, which nobody saw coming. Like
Nobody.
they,
If you say you saw that coming, unless you're a Pacers fan, you're lying.
yeah. Like now, Indiana, in my opinion, no superstar on that team.
Hmm.
Right? I think you look at years past, a lot of times your NBA champs or contenders have maybe two, sometimes three superstars in recent years, given the quote unquote super team era. I'm not going to get into that debate. But you look at OKC. When I look at OKC, I'm like, okay, you had Shea. I'll give him the superstar badge.
Yep.
Then from there, you had a really good player in Jalen Williams. And then, you got pieces like Chet and Harkenstein who are really good at what they do. Do you think that the era of super teams are dead, or do you think teams need a super team to really compete for a legitimate title in today's NBA?
Right. So to answer the question shortly, no. And I'll go into that. I'll go into why. So to me, a super team is one of those teams that had a big three, like the LeBron, D Wade, Chris Bosh, Miami Heat. If I look at the last five NBA champions, OKC Thunder, you mentioned Shea. That's the only superstar. 2023, 2024 Boston Celtics, Tatum, superstar. Jaylen Brown, star. You can call him a superstar if you want. Denver Nuggets, Jokic, superstar. Golden State Warriors, Steph, superstar, and KD. The Milwaukee Bucks, 2020, Giannis was a superstar. All these teams had one common theme. They had players, and this is cliche, but they had players that starred in their role.
Mm.
They had the Drew Holidays. They had the Alex Carusos. They had the knockdown shooters. They had the Draymond Greens. They had vocal leaders. They had guys willing to do the dirty work. So, and they had cohesion more than anything. They played together as a team. So those days of having the top three guys, not to say that you can't win with that, but you need to make sure that you have role players who are willing to do the dirty work and be a star in their role. I love a guy like Alex Caruso, man, like guarding the other team's best player, hitting a clutch shot in the corner, doing whatever it takes to win, or like a TJ McConnell, even something like that. Lou Dort, guys like that. So the league has definitely shifted, but you need more guys to star in their role.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. Like the way I was thinking of it, I was like, whether it's superstars or not, you need a cohesive group with the right system. Right. And that speaks exactly to what you're saying. Having guys that are going to do their job and do it at a very high level. Because like you can have as much talent in the world, but if people aren't going to be selfless, if people aren't going to like, you think back to that Miami team, right, with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. Wade was like, after they lost the first year, he was like, yo, I need you to be the guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's much different than, hey, we can both be the guy together. Because usually that doesn't work out. Not to go back to my Rutgers beef, but like, I have people in the comments saying like, "Oh no, they're still fantastic." You just got two guys that couldn't share the ball. I'm like, well, if you're telling me that there's some selfishness in there that they couldn't figure out how to win, then again, that's the videos I need to watch or the thoughts I need to have to make me more comfortable with our guy VJ.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think it's a matter of having people that are really gonna excel in their role for their team.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes that means, taking a back seat in some of the other things that you want to do. But if you have the chance to get superstars and build that cohesive unit around them, I think that gives you a great shot. But, I think at the very least, you probably need one superstar or one person that has take over the game ability. Like even if it's a Tyrese Halliburton who can hit big shots late, and
Yep.
then you need a really good second guy, like what Jaylen Brown was 4 years ago before he kind of got the superstar badge, or even like saw Jalen Williams do. He's kind of like what Brown was, a few years ago.
Yep.
So I think at the very least you kind of need that to win. And
Yep.
ideally, my theory is always like you kind of need at least one strong wing guy in today's NBA. Whenever people throw, trade scenarios or rumors that are going to pair two small guys together, like, oh, Maxey and McCain would be tough. I'm like, oh, that ain't gonna work. So historically speaking, I don't think that's gonna work. We need somebody a little bit bigger to make an impact on both ends of the floor. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just my feeling.
Absolutely.
But Jay, every now and then I jump on social media, probably when I shouldn't. Sometimes I just need to like post and put the phone down, working, and I just happen to open the app, and it's Stephen A. Smith with, I'll just call this like some flagrant foolery because
Yes.
he probably made one of the most outlandish statements that I've ever heard in my life. He was like I think Molly asked if Giannis doesn't win another title in his career, how would you describe his career? And Stephen A says underachiever. And I'm like, what? And then this is how you know it's always like BS. This is why like I don't really watch First Take as much anymore. Like a lot of the ESPN shows, I don't mean to dog ESPN, but like a lot of people on there sometimes I think just say nonsense. And so like he makes that and then he's like he'll turn around and say, "Oh yeah, yeah, but like it's not his fault." I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't call him an underachiever and then say it's not his fault. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Giannis's career and how Stephen A feels about Giannis?
This idea that Giannis is an underachiever is ridiculous. An underachiever, just to define for those who don't know, is someone who does less than what they're capable of. Do we need to list out Giannis' accomplishments? One NBA championship, two NBA MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, multiple time All Star, and the All NBA selection. And he's an underachiever. Are you kidding me? How many players haven't even won a championship in their career? How many Hall of Fame players? Allen Iverson, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Charles Barkley. The list goes on. You call him an underachiever? Just stop. Uh, Giannis is a high achiever. He's done more than what anyone would have expected. I think he was like the 13th overall pick in the draft. No one even knew who this guy was when they first drafted him. He went from averaging 6 points a game in his rookie year to averaging 30 points per game. This last season and the seasons before that. This guy is a monster. He is a high achiever. Let that be known.
Hey, I couldn't have said that better. Like, you think about where this guy came from before the NBA. Then you just think about when you would see him in his rookie season. He's built like me, right? Like the work of art that is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And it's like it's just amazing. So, that's what I always tell people, like, don't don't be a disciple of these TV personalities because they just say BS all the time. It's like clickbait for ratings, and I guess they got me. He threw some out, I had to respond.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So definitely happy to hear that, I'm not crazy.
No, no, you're not. You're
Thought I
not
was
at all.
crazy, but I was just like, yo,
That take was crazy.
oh yeah, that was some flagrant foolery.
Yeah.
I'll call that. But yeah, I think and like the other thing for me for Giannis is I remember this is probably circa 2018-ish when Ben Simmons still was hooping, like
Yeah, yeah. I remember those days.
it was like, all right, it was like Ben versus Giannis kind of in those Sixers Milwaukee matchups.
Yeah, I remember those. I like
Yeah,
those matchups.
neither guy could shoot a jump shot, right? Like it was a lot of just banging inside, like I'm up on you.
Right.
And so for Giannis to win a championship, n- I'm not gonna say never having had a jump shot, but being a guy that's kind of been slow to get up that curve and knocking down shots, I think is even more impressive in the NBA that we're in today.
Yo, facts. And kind of piggybacking off that, for those who don't know, when Giannis won his championship in the last game when they won the championship in Milwaukee, he shot 17 for 19 from the free throw line. And
Mm.
for those who don't know, that's like Giannis's biggest weakness, shooting free throws. He went 17 for 19, which is like 89% from the free throw line. Amazing. So,
That's why that man is stamped in my book.
yeah, bro. Respect. Shout
Yeah,
out Giannis, man.
yeah, yeah. But Jay, before we get out of here, I have a start bench cut scenario for you.
Yo, let's
And I'm
hear it.
calling this one OG's edition.
Okay.
So it's LeBron, KD, and Steph.
Yeah.
What's your start bench cut?
Oh man. LeBron, KD, and Steph. Uh, that's tough, man. Um, I mean, I gotta start LeBron just because longevity, championships, impact on the game. Um, I gotta start LeBron. KD and Steph, I kind of would be I would be disingenuous if I didn't bench Steph, given all the talk that we've had about KD. But I would bench Steph just because I think he's capable of being the bus driver to your earlier point. I can depend on him. Um, we saw the Olympics, right? The Olympics gold medal game. Hopefully, all my basketball fans saw that Olympics matchup where he won the gold medal to go to sleep. Um, gotta bench Steph. And it even sounds crazy benching Steph. I mean, it also sounds crazy cutting KD, but against Bron and Steph, I would have to cut KD. Kevin Durant is also a Hall of Famer too. All these guys are Hall of Famers, but that would be my order. What about you?
Mine was exactly the same.
Okay.
But for
There
the
we go.
seasons
And I
too.
promise you, we didn't pre-plan this. I promise you.
Yeah, I feel like even though he's older now, I feel like LeBron James, when you need him most, he's gonna do what he gotta do.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like with the right pieces around him, if we're holding all that equal, I'm like, give me him first. I think, I just trust Steph. I think, when it comes to being a leader, when it comes to, and I don't say that KD isn't a leader because I think he does a lot behind the scenes. I think he's probably one of those types of leaders that you don't see when you're just like
Hmm.
thing, but the impact that he has on the guys around him is still very positive. But Steph is just kind of like that calming assassin. You right? Like he's going to go out there, he's gonna kill who's ever in front of him. His shooting ability is crazy. And he also I think is a like the other guys, he's a very complete player, but I just think the threat he poses is one that's gonna be my number two. But I think the biggest difference between him and KD is just like the comfortability from
Yeah.
a leadership standpoint for the team.
Yeah.
And it's hard cutting KD because again, like I used to be a huge KD guy. I still think that when you need a bucket, you can get one from a 7-footer who can put the ball on the floor, post back. Like it's hard. You can't go wrong with these. But
Yeah.
I arrived at the same conclusion as you. So
Yeah.
that was a good one.
For sure. For sure.
Been great having you here.
Great
Thanks
to be
again
here.
for pulling me off the bench, man, because
Anytime.
I've been wanting to come back for a while and you gave me that little bit of you allowed me to scratch that itch. So now I'm back in front of the camera.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you back,
Appreciate it, man. And always a great collab. I think this is something we may have to keep doing because it's
Oh, for sure.
always great talking hoops with your boys.
Man, stay tuned for future episodes, man. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely. But if you don't already, make sure you follow Jay on at Wrong versus Right
Yes,
on
sir.
Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We out there. And I'll also link you below. But, thanks again for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you, bro. Take care.